And I presume you can all see my screen.
Yes.
Yes.
Good. Okay. So, uh, I presume Ken told you a little bit about me. I did over 50 Vistage talks, and I specialize in how people can adapt to the future of work, how Vistage companies can adapt to the future of work. Right now, a lot of my work is around AI. And what I do is I help companies that are Vistage size, so small, medium enterprises, adopt AI effectively using no-code, low-code tools. When I do presentations for Vistage, I typically also work with the chair just to help them figure out how they can use the tools most effectively. AI tools, just as part of my work with any chair when I give a presentation to their group to improve their own efficiency. And Ken asked me to talk a little bit about the work that I do with Vistage chairs and how they can use AI tools more effectively. That's going to be the nature of the presentation. Now, you can, the, as you can see from the slide deck, as you will see, it's a very extensive slide deck. My goal is not to get through the slide deck. That's not the point of why I'm here. My goal is to help you. And so what I want you to do is whenever you have a question, you can just ask the question and we can go in depth and we can pursue rabbit holes, whatever will be helpful for you. My goal is not to get through everything and do everything in my slide deck. So I just want to be very clear about that. And that's generally how I conduct my Vistage presentations for your members as well. My goal is to help them and see what's useful for them rather than just going through everything and trying to get all the information out there. So that's my goal. That's my aspiration.
One quick
All
question,
right.
will you share this slide deck after the presentation?
Yeah, with whoever wants the slide deck. So Ken will gather your information. So I've asked him to, like at the end of it, to see whoever wants my information. I'm also happy to work with any of you pro bono for a free coaching session to help you figure out how to use the strategies from this presentation in your own work. And so, Ken, like, just raise your hand if you want the slide deck and if you want my pro bono coaching. Ken will then give me your information and we'll get in touch. Sounds good?
You're
Okay.
the expert, Mark?
Mark, you want the slides after the presentation?
Sure. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So everybody.
Okay. I think,
Yeah.
all right. Sounds like everybody. Sounds good. Darren too. Okay, great. That'll be easy for Ken. So, what we'll talk about today. I will help you use AI to advance your business as a Vistage chair. Now, the tools that I'll talk about today are going to be primarily based on Claude Anthropic. If you use ChatGPT or if you use Microsoft Copilot or if you use Gemini Enterprise, the same things will apply. But the reason I'm talking about Claude Anthropic is that I see that's what most Vistage chairs are using who are more tech forward and advanced because Claude Anthropic as an AI platform has the most tools that Vistage chairs can use effectively. And that is going to be the intelligence platform that I'll talk about, I'll focus on, just because it's more useful for Vistage chairs than any of the other tools. If you see what businesses, for example, are using, small and medium-sized enterprises, professional service firms, they're really switching to Claude Anthropic from the other versions. Now, if anyone has any questions about that, I'm happy to discuss the differences between those four major AI tools and what they're used. But you'll see during the presentation that Claude has more capacities than other tools that you might be using. So again, if you have questions, I'm not able to see all of you as you raise your hand because you're right now tiny on my screen as I'm sharing my screen. So just vocally you just ask the question. Happy to talk about it. Okay. Then I'll also talk about NA10 as an automation platform. So of course, Claude Anthropic is the intelligence platform, NA10 is automations. And so you can do some things with automations that you can't do with Claude. And NA10 is going to be similar to Power Automate or to Make.com or to other automation platforms. And then I'll talk about how you can specifically use these tools most effectively in each priority area for chairs. Now, if you use AI effectively, even after this presentation, even if you're a tech troglodyte, you can save you can easily save 5 to 10 hours per week. A lot of time. That, and this is just from the basic stuff that I'm going to be showing here. I'm not going to be, you know, this is not like super rocket science stuff. This is stuff that I can share in 2 hours with our discussion. And just by using the stuff that talking about here, not using some of the more advanced features that I can't explain in depth, you should be able to save 5 to 10 hours once you have a system in place. So you can see 36 to 60 minutes easily in your first week, just after applying this stuff. And then, of course, more over time as you apply everything from the presentation. So here are going to be the tools. Claude AI browser chat. That's a typical standard thing that if you use Claude AI or ChatGPT or Copilot or Gemini, the browser chat, research, writing, brainstorming, document analysis. Another tool that is going to be only available in Claude, and this is why it's really why I advise Vistage chairs to use this, is the desktop app. What it allows you to do is to work on your files on your computer extensively. So using all the files on your computer. Right now, none of the other big services are able to offer that, not able to offer computer use. It can also schedule tasks for you. So you can do tasks on a scheduled basis. And it can control your browser. That's the Claude and Chrome that you see in the PowerPoint. It works to help you control your browser, go through LinkedIn workflows, everything that you want there. Then Claude and Excel is another big benefit. So a number of Vistage chairs, of course, use Excel extensively. And there's a Claude extension in Excel that can be quite helpful for all sorts of things, including complex things like pivot tables. I don't know how many of you are using pivot tables, but it can do those sorts of things. So pretty complex stuff. Claude for PowerPoint. You can use it for all sorts of PowerPoint slides. And then finally, I mentioned NA10. That's going to be the automation layer. So that's going to be the tools that we'll be talking about today. And here are the goal areas that we'll talk about: recruiting and candidate development, scheduling, coordination, workflow management, content organization, knowledge management, communication, writing, outreach, research, decision support, member support for meeting effectiveness, and then a broader AI perspective. It's going to be the outline. Now, this is just like a little bit about me. So AI strategy and risk consultancy. I authored 7 best-selling books, and hopefully my next one will be a bestseller. It's coming out with Georgetown University Press on the psychology of AI adoption. And this is just about the background about me. Okay, so what's the point of the guide? This helps you both become a better coach and a better business manager. So this is the point, and mastermind manager, of course. This is the point of the presentation. And AI is a great, great tool to help you do that. And this deck kind of combines all the information that I've learned and taught to Vistage chairs working on AI tools. And I'll have some case studies of names that are hidden, but with real Vistage chairs of ways that they use AI tools.
USB-C.
All right. Now, any questions at this stage before I actually get into the depths of the presentation?
We're good.
All right, great. Let's talk about Claude AI. What is the point of Claude AI browser chat? That's when you go to Claude AI, just like ChatGPT or something like that. This is what it can do. Real-time web search. So again, definitely most people are in chairs who are tech forward are not using Google for most of their search right now. You can upload files. You can use connectors through what's called Model Context Protocol. So MCP. Model Context Protocol is jargon that you should learn because you should be able to help your members understand this idea. So there are two important elements in terms of how computer programs talk to each other. One is called an API, Application Programming Interface. That's old school. It's been around since like the for over 20, 30 years. This is how programs can communicate to each other on the internet. So you can connect Salesforce to Google Docs and everything else to your CRM. Now, in the last 3 years, a new tool has come about called Model Context Protocol, MCP, that allows AI tools to use APIs, application programming interfaces, effectively. So that's the point of MCP, to allow AI tools to connect with various programs. So if you use Google Workspace or you use Microsoft tools, most chairs use one of those. Those are things that you can use very effectively through connecting them to Claude. Then to your CRM. I'll use HubSpot as an example because I know many chairs use this, but whatever tools you use, that's fine. LinkedIn, of course, very extensive usage, of course, by chairs. Slack, somewhat. But the point is that you can connect many, many tools to Claude. Let me show you what I mean. So you should be able to see my screen switch. And so here's Claude AI. So you could see this.
Yes.
And then you go to customize. And here you could see all the tools that you can connect Claude to.
Huh.
So everything here, you could see there's going to be hundreds of tools here that you can connect Claude to and be able to use Claude in connection with. So,
I don't see Facebook or Instagram on there. Does it connect with those two?
no, it doesn't connect with social media. So for that, you would go to, let's see.
So would it
That
connect to
would go,
LinkedIn?
so it can use LinkedIn. It can't connect to LinkedIn through the MCP because LinkedIn doesn't allow that, just because of the nature of the LinkedIn. But let's talk about LinkedIn. Let's see.
Dr. Gump, to connect,
Yes.
how did you get to customize? Where'd you go from?
So Claude AI /customize is where you can directly type it in. Otherwise, you can go to over here and go to settings, then go to connectors, and then you go to customize. And here, if you want to add a new customize skill, you go to browse connectors. And here's where it's going to be. So either way you can get to it, but the
Yeah.
easiest way is just typing in Claude AI customize.
Disappears.
Dr. Gleb, if I've connected content from Facebook or Instagram, videos, inspirational videos, and can I download them on my computer so that Claude AI can then sort them and categorize them? So it's not pulling them
Absolutely.
off of their website, but off of my computer after.
Yes,
Okay, thanks.
sure. So here is going to be the desktop app, Claude Cowork. And here you can do whatever you want with, well, you just choose a file that you want to work with. So you would go and you would choose if you have stuff in Dropbox, you can put stuff in Dropbox. You can choose whatever folder you have stuff in. So users, gleb. So choose whatever folder you want stuff in. If you have videos, for example, here's going to be videos, and it will work with whatever files you have available.
So you connected that through where?
So here is where you choose a folder.
Where, on the
And so,
plus? Sorry, I didn't see it, because the screen keeps blocking out. It goes,
Ah.
we can see it, then we can't see it.
That's on our side, not on your side.
Yeah,
The recording,
okay.
well, I don't know, I hope so.
no, because you can see on your computer.
Oh, you went to the plus button?
Over here is where the folder is. So below the plus button,
You went to the plus button to get access to it, yes?
no, I went below the plus button. So plus button is add files, connectors, or more.
Audio controls.
Then below that is going to be the folder button.
Okay, so you have to hit
And
the,
here, yeah, so you hit the folder button. And this is the Claude desktop app. So once you download the Claude desktop app, this is where you'll find whatever this screen. It allows you to use Claude on your computer.
okay, very good.
For example, I can ask it to,
Dr. Gleb, does everything we connect on our files and give Claude access to, does that then become accessible over the internet? Are we protected to not let all of our content that Claude is evaluating then become part of the Claude database and be shared with everybody?
yeah, great question. So here is where you want to get a business plan. So you want to get something like a team plan, or if you can get a personal plan and say you want to opt out of Claude training on your data. And so either of those is going to be your option. Business plan, it automatically doesn't train on your data just because that's a standard for businesses. For a personal plan, you don't want to get the free plan I'm not using right now. It's just legacy because I use a business plan. So I have an 8 people consulting company, and you have the business plan requires a minimum of 5 seats for $20 per month each. And so that's the plan that I'm using for my company. So we have each person in my company. So we have 8 seats. Now, most Vistage shares are solopreneurs, so you can get like the individual paid plan, and you can say opt out of training on my data. And so that will not have any information that will cause Claude to not train on your data.
Thank
So
you.
the free plan, Dr. Gelb, you cannot opt out. You have to have at least a pro.
Correct.
$17.
That's right. Yeah, and that's $20 a month. Yeah, very, very affordable.
Yeah, Bill, I've seen everything you've written on your computer. It's amazing.
This, yeah, the other.
Where do you see it?
So let's take a look now at what Claude came up with. So I'm answering Darren's question about video files. So
Can I ask you a quick question?
yeah,
Because I know this is a big topic among my members and things I'm reading on the internet is,
yep.
even if you're in your private space, you're still in their information deck, right? Because you're still using their tools. In other words, you can't download Claude or OpenClaw on your computer. You're still connected
Right.
What's your question?
to the internet.
It's just it's just like you're connecting to a web-based email service like Microsoft Outlook that's web-based or Gmail. Yes. So all the data is in the cloud in that sense. Yes. Does that?
Yes, that answers.
So
my
could you
question.
go back 1 second? Where do we go to opt out if we have a business plan? A personal.
If you have a business plan, you'll most likely it'll say team plan, and the team plan is going to be automatically opted out. They're not gonna have.
It's a pro plan?
So okay, for the pro plan, that's where you go into settings, and you look in your account, and somewhere here there's going to be information about opting out of, I think, organizational settings, data and privacy.
$20 a month. And you got a pro plan, it's $20 a month.
So here is going to be information that says allow people to rate Claude's responses, share that feedback with Anthropic. I turn that off. And then share chats, location metadata. I allow Claude to do that. But it's not going to allow me, who has a team plan, business plan, to just train on my data. That's not an option that's available. For a personal account, a pro account, you will have one of these settings, will be privacy settings, will say, can Claude train on your data? And you'll just have to opt out of Claude training on your data. So it's going to be the privacy settings.
Thank you.
Sure. Again, my goal is to help you, so anytime I can help you, don't hesitate to interrupt me. All right, let's go back. Where were we? Great. So, going to Darren's question.
It's my account.
So I said, look at all the files in my folder and summarize each one. And so here is, and this is my file I use for coding work, which you don't have to worry about. This is some of the more complex stuff that you can learn if you want to, for that will save you more time, obviously, if you learn how to code, but you don't need to worry about it at all. So here is what it's going to describe. So it's going to describe all the files, variables, scopes, functions, control flow, logic, numbers and math, strings and texts. So all the stuff that's in my files in that folder, it's going to describe. And I can then ask it to do anything I want with the files. I can ask it to combine files, to delete files, to analyze them, to do anything that you want with them. And so here it's giving me a summary of what these are. And so this is the power of it. And this is just an example of what you can do. Ask it to do something with the files. And there's plenty of other things that you can ask it to do.
Okay?
All right. Now, let's go back to Claude AI. That's going to be not the Claude desktop, but the Claude browser over here. So what you can do with this. So again, connects to all of your tools and whatever you want to do. By the way, when you're using this, you want to think about which model you're using. So there's going to be three models that you can think about. Haiku is going to be the fastest. So if you want a quick answer, instead of a Google search, this is going to be your best bet, but it's also going to be the dumbest model. So it's going to be the least intelligent model. Then Sonnet is going to be medium speed, medium efficient, medium smartness, and Opus is going to be the slowest, but the smartest model. So you want to think about what model you're using for whatever task that you want to accomplish. So let's talk about this the setup that I recommend you use. Let me actually exit out of this slide deck because I'm going to be switching back and forth, so it's going to be easiest if I don't do this. Okay. So one thing you want to be thinking about is your custom instructions setup. What do I mean by custom instructions? I mean giving it descriptions of who you are. So I'm a Vistage chair facilitating so on, and describe in much more depth who you are, what you do, your style, your preferred tone, what you typically need help with, explicit guardrails. Let me show you where you do that. So here, when you hit on settings, this is about personal preferences. And so here you should describe everything about you that you want Claude to know about you. Full name, what should Claude call you, know all the information, all the stuff that you want to Claude to respond with, all of these things. So all of this stuff is where you want everything that you want Claude, the style, the responses, very, very helpful for actually using Claude effectively. Because
said
then
that
it will be.
You send this, what you've written here as a template for us to think from, because otherwise we're making it up.
Sure, happy to. Yep, yep. So everything that the folks who are going to
Yeah.
get my resources, which it sounds like everybody here is going to, I'll send you everything that's here. But then, of course, you'll want to customize it for yourself.
Avoid using dashes, that you can tell right away is a AI generated document.
That's right. That's why I told you to avoid it.
I like the first line.
Yeah, this is true. I'm a behavioral scientist. This is my background, so definitely quite helpful. And then again, writing emails on my behalf, everything, very helpful. Good. So let's take a look at how you can use them. So here is an example. Research somebody. I'm evaluating them as a potential Vistage SEO group member, provide information about who they are. So this is a pretty simple prompt. And again, you don't need to worry about copying, pasting them, but this is something that you can easily ask Claude to do. So thinking about how you would do this. This is just very easy. Copy paste prompt, one example. Another example, I have a one-on-one tomorrow with your member who runs all this information. Their last commitment to me was this. They tend to avoid whatever topic. Give me 3 open questions to start the conversation, 2 questions that probe deeply, 1 what you're not telling me, and a closing question. So this stuff is obviously quite useful to the Vistage chairs that I worked with, and I helped them set this stuff up, and it helps them save quite a bit of time. So both of these are examples. This is recruitment, this is preparing for meetings. So just giving you a couple of examples of how you can do this. And of course, if you have your folder open, you can just give it a background. You don't have to type this in. You can just, if you have a description of a member, you could just upload that file, or you can point Claude to that file and say, here's information about this point, this person, and give me all of this. Okay, questions about these 2 prompts, if any?
Not as much about the prompt, but a question about accessing data. You talked about accessing data out of your file system. What if you want to access data that's on a website?
Great question. So let's go back to Claude. Let's see.
Remember that TV show?
Yeah.
Yes.
A horse is a
That's
horse.
that's my horse impression.
Unless that horse.
Yeah. Wrong end. The talking horse. Go to my LinkedIn profile and research. Okay. So we can look at LinkedIn.
Yes. So let's see what it will do.
But you couldn't say go to my Facebook account.
You could.
I said, okay.
I thought you said earlier it didn't have access to LinkedIn.
No, he said he couldn't.
So
work
it doesn't automatically connect to your LinkedIn.
How does it connect to LinkedIn?
So
Okay.
so right now it's going through my browser. So I'll explain the difference. Here,
It's MAN. We have to use Copilot. MANDEL.
Wow.
So here, what it will do after I type that in is it will load a tool that will automatically search through my email threads. It doesn't require going to my email.
But
You
maybe
got the
it'll-
spelling wrong for Mendelbaum.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Let's see.
Ken's the conversation with a long distance relative.
Yeah.
It's
So
not a
here is,
It's become
so you could
self-aware.
see here that, I asked it to remind me of, like, if you have a meeting coming up or if you have a meeting with a chair. So here, and you saw it took like 10 seconds to search that information. And so here's what it found.
Maybe he did that intentionally.
But, Dr. Gelb, how did you access this by having Claude, you gave it access to your emails?
That's right. It's able to access my emails. It's able to access my calendar. It's able to access my Google Drive. It's able to access my Dropbox. So all this information. That's where I went to the connector and I added it as connectors. Gmail, Google Calendar, all these other tools that I connected it to that I use typically.
You have to give it passwords to get in?
But I have to sign into these two in order for it to get in.
And once you sign in, you have to keep it live for it to continue to work. If you shut down, it no longer has access. Is that correct?
No, so this is connecting through the MCP protocol. All I have to do is authorize the connection. It's like linking to any bank account, let's say, linking your PayPal to a bank account. It's going to be permanently connected. So that's what happens when you add a connector. It's going to be permanently connected.
Is there a connector for Outlook?
Hmm?
Is there a connector for Outlook?
Yes, there is a connector for Outlook.
It was on that list.
Okay, I didn't see it.
Because it
I believe
flashed.
you.
I
We,
still saw
we
it.
started this with you going to show us how we connect to LinkedIn, which was my question. Are we going to
Sure.
get back to that?
Yes. Like I said, I'm happy to pursue sidetracks and give
That was my,
questions and so on. Yep.
I guess you
So
didn't
let's
ask
go
it
back
clearly.
to this.
I'm
Let's
worried
do a
about
plus.
tactics here.
Let's do a plus
But Mike,
delta on his
but Mike,
question.
how do you feel about connecting?
He's
How do you feel about
Mike, what's your
connecting?
headline?
Okay, so here's what's happening. Oh, it asked me to sign into my Claude and Chrome extension, and I'm using a laptop. I'm traveling right now, so it's not signed in automatically. Then it asks me to navigate to the LinkedIn profile, asks allow for this website to use the browser. And so you see it's not automatically connected to my LinkedIn. So LinkedIn doesn't give an automatic connection.
404.
Yep. And so here it's going to be logging into it. You can see the me drop down from the profile. Let me view profile. So you can see exactly what it's doing. It's taking screenshots, it's working on it. And here is, you could see what's going on. It opened this automatically and it's looking at these people.
Where did you give it your LinkedIn access? Was there a password or something you coded in?
Yes, yeah, it's already opened. Okay, so now what's happening here? It says, I see your LinkedIn profile. It's looking at this. Your profile is uploaded. It's able who your viewers with Conan Gregg and no Joe Connor visible. So then remember the prompt was that look at the people who are visible in my profile and look at who they are. So again, it's doing all of this. You can see exactly what it's doing. So you can see all the people that it's looking at.
On your phone. Yeah.
And so you could see all of these people that it's finding. And again, that's all from one prompt.
I have chat.
And so here you could see that it's doing all of this itself. I'm not managing it. It's doing all these changes, all this information. So this is how you would access either LinkedIn or anything else that you want. I can ask it to go through Facebook in exactly the same way. I can ask it to go to any website. This is called browser control. So it controls your browser and does whatever you want. So if you can do, I'll talk about a little bit later in the presentation about how you can do things like look at these 5 people who I just found on LinkedIn and evaluate them as potential Vistage members and evaluate whether they would be a good fit for my group. Here's information about my group, and here is who I would like to bring into my group, for example. Then you could tell it to customize an email, customize a LinkedIn pitch to each of these members, to each of these prospects based on their LinkedIn recent posts. And then it will customize and send them a message automatically, a connector message based on that information. Now, here is, in the meantime, here's what it found. So look at what it found again without me doing anything. It found this person, gives a description of who they are. Found this person that gives a description, all of these people. I can ask it at this stage to do whatever I want. I can ask it to, let's just evaluate.
Now I said
It takes some screen. I can get to those people right away.
His name is like, they just run there.
Or Vistage member.
They had something about members of meetings.
You still gotta
You don't
run-
have to get the grammar right, by the way. You don't have to like get spelling right. It automatically understands and can deal with spelling mistakes. So I just type in things fast. I don't try to get grammar
doing-
right.
At a high level and driving prospects down to us.
It's another whole conversation.
I don't know.
I'd like
No,
to-
So here,
Do it if you can do it for free.
Talk to legal.
You had a chance.
Free labor, got it.
That's
You had a
it.
chance to.
Oh, you can create a
Yes.
bot, and it'll do it all for you.
I didn't didn't think of it this
Enjoy
way.
yourself.
Next one.
I will think. of it.
okay. So
Can we, I imagine the answer is yes. If we're logged into the Vistage website or Vistage Salesforce, can it look for us to see if they're on someone's reserve list?
That's a good one.
oh, absolutely. Yeah. So here,
Yeah, that's a good one.
This is ridiculous. This should be centralized at the Vistage level, and they should be driving those prospects to us.
All right, who wants to pitch in flight ticket, hotel stay, San Diego, go get them.
yeah. So here, as long as you sign into the Vistage website, it
The
can do
sandwich
anything you
board.
want.
Thank you.
Okay. So in the meantime, so the answer is yes. It can do whatever you want it on the Vistage website. You just need to give it directions. But here is, in the meantime, the answer to this question. Evaluate whether any of these would be a good fit for a Vistage member.
Listen, think about
So
it.
geography, most people would face significant barriers using the standard criteria. So it understands what the standard criteria are. I didn't tell it what the standard criteria are. It's smart enough to understand by searching the web for what Vistage members look like to look for this. So geography is a problem. So people run out of various locations. This guy is the most interesting case. He's in the US area, likely in the New York area. He's clearly the profile of someone Vistage targets. He's a CEO scaling a company, growth-oriented, intellectually serious, committed to leadership development. So this might be an issue, and he might not qualify for it, but he might fit for a small business program. So if you are thinking about, here is the list of people who are popping up in my sidebar. Should I contact any of them as prospects? Here is just like this very quick search that you can figure this out. So that's an example. And you could see the kind of power. And you go on My Vistage, you can do all the search, you can do whatever you want through any resource. The key here is that it controls your browser. So the connector, these are, again, 2 distinct things, where one thing would control your browser, but the connector automatically connects to your email. It doesn't need to go through your browser separately. So it's a much, much quicker process where you're getting the information.
Dr. Gleb, if I
Yes.
wanted to hire you and just say, I don't want to do any of this crap, just set it up for me on my computer, I'll give you access, what would you charge me
Yeah.
for that?
So I talked to you about whether we can arrange a package, if you want to do a package deal, or if you want me to do hourly, and then we'd figure out what the reasonable rate is for me to do this for you, either hourly or a package deal. I'm quite flexible, and I've worked with a number of Vistage chairs.
What's your hourly rate?
My hourly rate is $485.
And this would take you about 30 minutes, right? Because you're gonna have Claude do it.
It would take me much less time than if I didn't have Claude do it. Yes, correct. But yes, so it would depend again on how much you want me to do. So I still have like lots of stuff to present and lots of stuff to talk about what you want to do. But I would tell you right now that I'm happy to give free pro bono coaching. So a half hour of my time after this presentation to anyone in this room or present virtually, Darren, to help you start the process of setting up. And if you want to bring me in to present to your members, I would be happy to spend more time with you, just again, pro bono, without me charging you, to help you set up these tools.
We all get a half hour. At 9 hours.
Okay.
All right. So we see now what it can do, and here is the sources that it relied on to analyze all the information about these folks who don't fit the profile or who do fit the profile. All right, let's go back. So desktop app, that's I was just showing you. It gives you quick access without opening a browser tab. It's the way that you use Cowork to do everything for whether you control your browser or control your computer. It also allows you to do scheduled tasks. You can also use your phone to tell it to do things when you're away from the computer. And so Claude Cowork is going to be the key tool here. Cowork is a tool that can plan and execute multiple steps. So as a reminder here, it was doing a whole bunch of steps by itself. And so you saw that how intelligent it is. It's able to go through and figure things out by itself without me giving it particular guidance.
I hope the answer to this is what I'm looking for. If you have two computers you switch between and you set this up on the first computer, does that carry over to other computers using the same account?
Claude AI in the browser, yes, not so yes, it would carry over to the same computer. Claude for desktop, you would want to set it up individually in each one, and it would almost all of it would carry out except whatever you're using for the folders. So if you have different information in each folder, then of course that wouldn't carry over. But Claude for desktop itself and how you set it up and scheduling tasks, that would carry over for each computer. So right now I'm on my travel computer because I'm based in Columbus, Ohio, but I just gave a keynote in Portland, so I'm in Portland right now, and so I'm using that local computer, which is why I'm screening my background. Usually I just show my office background, but I'm able to do everything I would on my home computer, except of course I can't use the same files that are on my home computer because they're not accessible. I can use Dropbox, which I know my Dropbox, I have my work files are going to be in my home computer and in my travel computer, they're going to be the same.
So I'm not sure I got the answer. If I set it up on the,
Jeff, why don't you do this privately with him?
okay,
He gave the answer, but my question is, if he got a business account with
Guys,
multiple
let's
users,
learn how to use the system first.
could he then put them together?
So yeah, so right now, all the people, if you get a business account, all the people on the business account can share chats and projects with each other. And I'll talk about projects a little bit later. But yes, you can share information with each other if you have a business account.
And files?
And files, yes. So again, if you'll have something that synchronizes them, like let's say a Dropbox or a Box account, so you'll just want to synchronize, or a SharePoint, you just want to synchronize them across either in your computer or in the cloud.
Cool.
All right. So here are some ideas for scheduled tasks. So here you can just have Claude run them every X amount of time. For example, Monday morning briefing. You can have it every morning for Mondays, do a calendar overview, take action items from the week's emails, recruiting status, overdue one-on-ones, everything, and just have it run every Monday. And a number of Vistage shares I work with like this sort of Monday meeting overview. Then pre-meeting member prep. Before each group meeting, a one-page brief per member with goals, last commitments, recent notes. So it's able to pull information from your calendar and say, hey, a meeting is coming up. Let me do 24 hours before it, this meeting prep. Friday wrap-up. Meeting recaps, commitments, recruiting pipeline, a recruiting report, all of this sort of stuff. So this is the benefit of scheduling tasks, that you can have them run on a scheduled basis whenever you want. Questions about this? I'll give you some examples of the actual prompts, but I want to see if the concept here is clear.
Yep. How does it know the meeting recap?
So meeting recap of which one are, so if you're going to record your meetings, and it's able to pull the transcripts of the meetings. So this is part of like the recording. So we have this meeting being recorded. We can pull the transcript from it, and it'll do a meeting recap. So just if you're doing your one-on-ones with members, well, so the Vistage shares I work with now ask their members if they're okay with their meeting being recorded, so they can do an automatic transcript and then get the meeting. If you're in person or video conference, either way, just record the meeting, and then you can extract a lot of information that you previously would have had to take notes on. That would be much, much easier using transcript of the meeting. Now, co-work projects. What is this? So this is something where you can provide information to Claude about how you want it to work with any sort of activity. Let's say you wanted to do that meeting wrap-up, that Friday wrap-up. What you do is you put it in a co-work project, and in a co-work project, it has instructions for how you want it to do certain things. And you can provide it with some examples of wrap-ups that you like, sample wrap-ups. And then it will create similar files for future wrap-ups. So it's basically a way of creating a repeating task, a repeating activity through any sort, so through a Claude project. Another thing you can do is create a project for each of your groups. So you have a roster, your facilitation guidelines, group-specific norms, standing context. And chairs I work with typically do this, and then they can get a lot of information for each member and provide a lot of context for it. So here is an example of, again, hiding the names, but the underlying information is accurate. So here is one guy who has a lot of accumulated files across his Google Drive. He pointed coworker at his share resources folder, asked it to read each file, categorize it, rename it, build a master index. A larger version of what I did with the folder that I showed you. It took about 45 minutes, produced a 12-topic organized index. You can find any resource very quickly now. So if you think about all the resources that you've got across your 20, 15, 10, 7, whatever years of experience, you can categorize it and make it much more organized very easily. So pre-meeting prep automation. So this is manual prep. And what you do is you set up scheduled cowork tasks. Monday morning briefing, pre-group meeting, Friday wrap-up. So all of these things, she estimated about 2 hours saved, and things are not falling through the cracks through creating this pre-meeting prep automation. Then another one is what themes are emerging across your free groups, so you can talk about them. Looking at the last 6 months of one-on-one notes, identify recurring themes, and produce a quarterly theme report. So for example, you can discover issues that your groups are dealing with and that you can help them with. So here are those case studies. Questions about these case studies before going on to Claude and Chrome. Okay. So, headline capabilities. This is what I was showing you before, how Claude can use your browser. It can read web pages at any time, look at multi-tabs, compare them together, fill all sorts of forms that you wanted to fill out, schedule tasks to run them regularly, and then it can ask before acting mode. So it asked me before accessing LinkedIn, for example. Here are some workflows. Profile assessment. This is what I showed you before. View profile, ask Claude to assess the fit against your member criteria. Then you can do the same thing if you have a number of profiles together. You can get a connection request drafting. So generate a personalized connection request, comment engagement. So if you don't want to spend your own time on comment engagement, you can ask it to actually draft responses to comments. Quite useful. Summarize LinkedIn messages, saved post mining, look at your posts. Here's an example of a prompt you can easily see. I can see this LinkedIn profile in the main window. Assess this person for a potential Vistage CEO member, consider all of these issues, rate them, and evaluate them. You already saw it doing an example of that with a whole bunch of people at once. This is meant for one person, but you can also do it at the same time with a whole bunch of people if you show it all in the same window. Here is what you would do with posts. I published this post. There are now comments. For each comment, draft a thoughtful reply that however you want it to reply. Acknowledge a specific point, add something rather than just thanking them, ask a natural follow-up question, stays under 200 character per reply. Questions about this using LinkedIn. And again, this applies to all websites, whether it's Vistage, Facebook, X, anything that you're using, any website that you're using. You can just give it access to it and it will do whatever you want with it.
And this puts it into your drafts folder for you to send out. It won't do it automatically.
It will not do it automatically. It will just put it into the chat. So it will put it into this chat window, and then you can do whatever you want with it after it's in the chat window.
I understand you could take the email and ask Claude to create a draft email to the person so that all you have to do is click on it.
Absolutely. So let's go to
One of the problems I foresee already is just like everything else that we've all used and have now become so ubiquitous you can't get through the noise, is I get, like, from all those people that approach us who want to provide us with services, I'm now getting like, oh, I saw your post about such and such, that's very interesting, how have your clients responded to that? Like thoughtful messages, which I know are being AI generated, so now I'm not reading those either.
So here is where the key is customizing messages.
Right. Customized to like my last post, for example. But I know it's coming out of AI. I know they're not actually spending the time to read everybody's post, so I just don't respond to them. I'm just saying I don't know how within like a year, how you're gonna get through.
Well, you got a year's
Fair enough.
First to market.
12 months, clock is
25.
ticking.
Right. Better get to work.
You could have 5 groups of 20 each. You'll
That's
have no
true.
problem.
Just what I want.
So here is, I asked it to draft an email for Ken, updating what's going on. And here is, it drafted this email. Then again, use the placeholder, couldn't find his email, saying, "Hi Ken, I'm looking forward to presenting to your Vistage group today. Wanted to reminder of the session." So that, again, very, very quick. It took me no time at all to get this message, right? And I just asked it to draft an update. Like, think about your members and how you would want to remind, they're busy and you would want to remind them of what's going on with what you're doing and your interactions with them. And so here you can just ask it to do that. Wonderful. Great. So going back to the point that you were making about posts. So here is a question, like when you're doing your prospecting, you can do generic prospecting saying, "Hi, I think you would be a good fit for my Vistage group. Here's why my Vistage group is great. And here's why members join it," right? Like that's a message you can send. Or you can send a thoroughly customized message to each person based on Claude finding information like this to him for Connor. And you can send it to him knowing, hey, this is who you are. I know who you are. I researched it. This is why you would be a good fit for my Vistage group. We have other people who are non-competitive with you and who might benefit from your services potentially, and who would be giving you good advice and who you get good advice from. Your message would be much more effective. So let's say, so you can ask it to do that, and you could ask it to customize a message to 10 people at the same time, and it will customize messages. You can ask it to send the message. I'm not going to ask it to send it to him, obviously, but I could have asked it to send it to him. So this is stuff that you can very easily and quickly do. And this all depends on just learning how to use Chrome, how to use Claude and that Chrome extension. Now let me talk a little bit about Claude and Excel. It's not going to be quite as exciting, but it's still quite useful, especially if you're thinking about helping some of your members who have a lot of Excel files. It can read workbooks with full understanding of formulas, look at pivot tables, charts, and so on, address errors, update models, save multi-step workflows. Here is how you should think about stuff that far from all chairs use Excel, but some of you might. So prospect tracker, all the scoring formulas, conditional formatting, member roster, satisfaction surveys of various sorts, pipeline reports, speaker tracking, and if you're thinking about your personal financial model, you can do all of this with Claude and Excel. So here is an example of pipeline enhancement. Enhance my prospect tracker with the following changes. You can ask it to do all this, just to change your Claude folder with your conditional formatting, priority score, and so on. Analyzing a survey. So if you run a survey among your members, there are responses, open-ended surveys. You can ask it to look at average, median, standard deviation, identify any member whose category ratings are more than 2 points below, summarize themes, distribution chart, anything that you want. So here's a financial model update. If you're thinking about launching a group, for example, you can look at all these revenue items and think about anything that you want to improve your financial model of your business. In the meantime, let me go back to the point to what I was talking about before. Customize a message to Connor. So here's one message. Congratulations on stepping away from NYU's turn to go on in IA mindset. I chair a Vistage CEO group, and I think you're a serious value from it right now. You spent 12 years as a Brazilian chief AI architect, but growing and scaling your own company is a genuinely different game. Vistage gives you a confidential group of experienced CEOs who navigate exactly that transition. And so here it's talking about me as a person because I also run this AI adoption, but of course it'll be customized to you and your background. So this is actually much more highly customized and much more likely to get a response message than a typical LinkedIn message that you would get. So thinking about this is, and of course you can tell it to revise it in any way that you want. So for example, say that, say I don't have any competing members and your services would also be useful for my awesome highlight issue of signal. So for example, you can ask it to do this if you think that this is something that would resonate with this person. And so here it's going to think and it's going to change it to address these issues. Share Vistage group. I have no competing members in the group, so you'd walk into a room with candidates safe, nobody's sizing up your business. That's loneliness. And when you left NYU Stern, became the person running the company, the dynamics shifted completely, and so on. I'll also be honest that your work on AI adoption would be directly valuable to my members. There's a real mutual upside here. So again, you can customize it. You could see how quick it is to actually customize messages and for your recruitment pipeline. Any questions about this?
I like the fact that you got two drafts there, so you can pick and choose what you want.
Yeah, it's a standardly does 3 drafts, and you can ask it to do 10 drafts or however many drafts you want. It's all right. PowerPoint. So Claude also can live in PowerPoint. So here you can have Claude as part of your PowerPoint. And it can generate full presentations, individual slides, change anything you want. So for example, create a 10 slide. This is a prompt that you can just copy paste into Claude and PowerPoint. Create a 10 slide onboarding presentation for new members joining the Vistage group and use a template. And here is the slide deck. And then it would create that slide deck. Then you can have your members create slide decks. So again, give them templates, make their life easier. Then you can convert slides from bullets into a visual diagram, anything that you wanted to do with a slide deck. And finally, briefly about NA10 for workflow automation. So what is this? This is workflows built by connecting nodes on a canvas. Each one that presents an action, and I'll show you what I mean by that. Let's see.
N8N.
That's right, N8N.
Does that only work with Claude?
No, N8N is a completely separate program. You can integrate it with Claude, but it's an automation program. You can use make.com. There are a number of automation programs, but this is something that is quite helpful for automating various activities. Let me show you what I mean. Hold on. All right. So, as a speaker, I often want to reach out to venues that want speakers. And so here is an example of venue, American Marketing Association Columbus chapter. This is others, American Architect Association, and so on. And so lots of chapters that want speakers. Now, what happens is that they list the names of people who are the speaker contacts on their website. Say, go to my website, contact this person if you want to speak, if you want a speaking presentation. I know a number of Vistage chairs also do speaking, which is a great way of getting members, recruiting members. So what this does is it uses Claude Chrome browser to search for information in a various, let's say in Columbus. I'm based in Columbus, Ohio, so this is in Columbus. But if I'm traveling to Portland, so I would ask it to go to Portland and look at for all the chapters of various associations for which I want to present in Portland. And then it would put all the information from these people into the first 7 rows here, or first 8 rows. So we put their name, their email, their title, their affiliation, their LinkedIn, and so on. So you've seen that before. Pretty simple. You just give it information and you use the Chrome extension. Next, what it does is let's see. Okay, here it is. So this is for architects. This is AIA is the Architectural Association, the American Institute for Architecture, Columbus chapter. Then what it does is it customizes emails to each individual person with email subjects, icebreakers, and LinkedIn pitches. So for example, email subject is going to be AA Columbus Strategic AI Innovation for Architects. And then it will say, your collaborative leadership approach with diverse teams perfectly positions AA Columbus to guide members for building custom AI solutions. So that's going to be the email subject, and this is going to be the icebreaker sentence. And so as you can imagine, that email is going to be much more likely to be responded to than a generic email that says, would you like a presentation on AI adoption? Then
This is all generated, this is all generated by the N8, whatever that's called?
N8.
Yes, N8N. So here is going to be what it looks like. And you could see it's pretty simple visual tool builder. You don't have to have any programming skills. So what it does is it puts information from the Google spreadsheet that it creates through doing a LinkedIn search using the tools that I showed before for LinkedIn and for website browsing. Then it does a research on each person. So it takes the information in the first 8 columns, and it researches them and comes up with a 200-word research excerpt. And so the research excerpt is going to be something like what we saw before. Like, this is going to be the kind of research excerpt it comes up with. So just a description of the person and the relevance. And then I'm going to integrate with Claude to write an email to this person. And so here are the instructions I'm giving Claude. You're a strategic communications expert. Your job is to write a 5-email outreach sequence and a LinkedIn pitch using information from the research. Not using generic phrases like radio silence, you must be busy, just checking in. Instead, go into specific observations from the research, cite the research in subject lines and icebreakers, LinkedIn pitches, and talk about how they can benefit from an AI presentation. So let's go a little bit more into the research, going back to this person on architecture. So here is going to be the LinkedIn pitch that it came up with. Given A, Columbus's visionary mission to provide resources for architects to design a better world, again, clearly customized to who these people are. Let's show members how to stop renting generic AI, and so on. So this is a LinkedIn pitch to them. Then it's going to come up with another email subject line, A Columbus member resources expansion with AI. And so given your focus on creating strategic plans to meet organizational missions, again, I'm sure it has something to do with what they have on their website. A Columbus advocacy through AI solutions. So for a group like IA Columbus is prioritizing advocacy and leadership resources for architects, again, you could see that each email in the sequence is hitting a different point based on what the AI tool found. So if you think about prospecting to your members, Columbus architecture firms need a Columbus AI guidance. As Columbus organizations face increasing technology pressures, this AI presentations over the specific roadmap a Columbus needs to lead member innovation. So if you think about doing warm outreach or cold outreach to prospects, you can use the same tool, NA10, to come up with multiple email sequences. And then you can either automatically email them, or you can put them into your CRM. You can put them, or you can read them in advance if you want a human in the loop step, whichever choice you want. So it depends on how many prospects you have and how customized you want it to make to each person and how much you want to work on tweaking each draft. So you can create a set of emails that are going to look like completely human emails. So let's see what these look like in my email.
Gail,
Yes.
you're not just creating an agent. Isn't what we're doing here the same thing as an agent?
So no, this is an automation. So AI agent would not be able to access your email and do all of these things in a combined way. So it's not going to be able to look online for all of these people and create a thorough spreadsheet with customized research for each person. AI is not there yet to create it using an agent. You can't just give it instructions to do that. It would need to have separate tasks. So NA10 is a way of separating tasks into doable bytes for an AI, basically. Eventually,
Dr. Webb, how have you advised other Vistage chairs to use this when we have to check with the reserve list to see if these folks are available?
so then you have a reserved list, and then you just have it first compared to a reserved list. So that's what you want to do. You'll want to get the reserved list and compare it to it and say, okay, exclude anyone who is on this list.
You give it access to your Vistage log.
Exactly.
Your
Yep.
Vistage. And then it could
Yep.
do whatever you would do when you're in Vistage, or Salesforce. Vistage Salesforce.
So there you go. And so here's what the email looks like. Hey, Columbus Strategic AI Innovation for Architects. Hi, Elizabeth. Your collaborative leadership approach to diverse teams positions A Columbus to guide members to building strategic solutions and so on. And then it gives my generic pitch to them. The crucial thing is the icebreaker sentence that actually causes them to pay attention to what I'm saying. And so again, given your focus on creating strategic plans, so you could see it's the same information that I had before that I came up with. So this is going to be very useful for you as a prospecting tool. When you're thinking about you reaching out to a number of prospects and creating an automatic email sequence to them and the LinkedIn pitch sequence. If you have their phones, you can use a texting as well. You can have it create texts and that you can send, you can tweak. If you have, let's say, a voicemail script that you can have it create, any way that you want to reach out to prospects, you can use this to customize it and to do a lot of the customization of various outreach through this. questions about this? All right. So this is what I mean by a visual workflow paradigm. So I've showed you before the visual workflows. Each of these buttons, each of these is going to be a way of connecting programs to each other, APIs, application programming interfaces. And so these are going to be connecting programs like Google Spreadsheets, a research tool, Claude Anthropic, and again, back to Google Spreadsheets. But if you have your CRM, you can just upload it to a CRM. So this is the visual workflow tool. In a couple of years, maybe in a year, you can just describe this stuff to an AI tool and it will be able to do it. But right now, just the intelligence tool that the Claude is not going to be able to do this more complex automation process of combining all of these steps together in a reliable way, which is why you need to build it in a visual builder like NA10. And so I talk about that. This is something, again, a little bit more sophisticated. And so here you could have it scheduled to run every Monday, use webhooks, which means that an external system can ping NA10, use app events like a new HubSpot contact, and do a whole bunch of things that you want computer programs to do with each other. So here are the integrations that you can integrate HubSpot, Salesforce, Google Workspace, Microsoft Teams, LinkedIn, ActiveCampaign, Anthropic, and so on. Here are some workflow archetypes for NA10. So you have a new CRM contact in your HubSpot. It automatically can do research to enrich the information and assess them and then update your CRM. You can do a follow-up sequence. So if you have no response to an email in 8 days, an AI can automatically send an email or just save a draft and let you know that, hey, you should send an email. Meeting prep, calendar to CRM sync, lots of ways. So for example, let me walk you through a couple of workflows. Trigger is a new contact added to your HubSpot or Google Sheet or Excel or whatever you use to track prospects. It then automatically pulls company data through a tool like Clearbit, verifies the email through Hunter, looks at their social media presence through something like Full Contact. And again, all of these are tools that you do use for these purposes. Then it generates an initial assessment and it puts the information back into the CRM. So again, saving you a whole bunch of time. And then, of course, it notifies you. Another example, 7-day no response to someone, it finds prospects in contacted stage with no activity. Drafts an email touch, save to Gmail or auto send if you want to auto send. Then a drafting touch again with a different angle. So you saw the different angles that I was showing before and how it can do that. And then there's a final touch if the prospect doesn't respond, moves them to the nurture list.
This is all in N8N?
That's right. Yep. So these are more complex automations that Claude by itself would not be able to handle. This is where you need something like a more structured approach like N8N.
So in 8NN, you have to connect it to Claude, yes? Just like you took Claude and connected it to other things.
You would have a connector to Claude, yes. So yes, it wouldn't connect automatically through Claude itself. You would have what's called a node, having it be connected to through an API to Claude. Yes.
Where'd you do that? Where'd you add that?
Pardon me?
How did you tell it to connect? What was that?
So you have this tool called Open Nodes panel, and you say load Claude, and then it will connect you to Claude Anthropic. And so that's one of the connectors that it can create. And then you ask it which actions, and it tells you, and so on. So you can use the Claude connector. So again, it's going to be right here, plus Claude, and so on.
Thank you.
Sure.
If you want to validate data from one AI platform to another, can you use N8N to take the output from the first and feed it through the second?
Sure. Yep. You can connect. So I'm just using Claude here. You can use OpenAI, that's ChatGPT. You can use Gemini, that's Google, and have them verify data if you want to do that.
Okay.
Amazing.
So if I wanted it, just as an example, if I wanted to
Yeah.
look at my calendar and put on a spreadsheet, here's all the people who I have scheduled so far for this month. Here's all the people
Yep.
that I want to schedule.
Mhm.
Give me a report that shows who's still open, and it'll do that
Yep.
work. I could probably do
Absolutely.
in Claude though, couldn't I?
Yes, you can do that. So you can have it, let's see. Use for the
Where's your list of all
next.
you want to be in touch with?
I would put it into a
You'd have
file.
to upload it.
I'd give it access to my calendar.
Right, that's on who you actually have scheduled.
Create a file that it's looked at, compared,
Well, it's CRM
and
maybe.
then give me a report.
Yeah, your CRM maybe.
And if I wanted to set it up as an automated system to report to me at the beginning of every week or every day, so I knew where I stood, can I set that up in Claude, or do I have to go to?
Yes. Here, for that task, you can set it up in Claude. It's not that complex. So what you would do here is use scheduled. And so here you would schedule tasks. I have a bunch of scheduled tasks, so you can set up whatever scheduled tasks you want in this feature. So that this would be scheduled. So just create a new task, and then you would do whatever you want for that task. So that task is not complex enough to require an A10. So that is something that Claude itself can handle through scheduling. Okay.
Let me ask you this
So,
question. I want to go
yeah.
and have it look at all the appointments I have for the next week.
Yep.
And have to see who hasn't responded to a invitation. And give me a report of that. You can also check and see who's responded to an Outlook invitation and who hasn't.
Correct. Yep. I can certainly see that.
And can it automatically then send a reminder to those people?
And then I can have it send a reminder.
Yes, you can. So you saw me drafting, you saw me tell it to create an email for Ken updating him about the meeting. It's going to do the same thing. No, so I would have it create a draft and then check the draft and send it myself at first to confirm that the draft reminder is going to be in the style that you want it to. But once you're comfortable with it, that it's creating them in the same way, then you'll just have it say, "Don't create a draft, just send the email," and it'll send the email.
Very good.
Mhm.
Very good.
Okay. So here again, you could see, and the nice thing is you can see what it's thinking. So here is the prompt based on your saying what you want to do. Look at my upcoming meetings for the next 10 days, create a spreadsheet with all these people, use my Gmail to get notes on each of these people. So here is what it's doing. It's going to load the tools, read a file. You could see the thought process of what it's doing. Again, and so you could see here, if something is not the way you want it to, you can stop it using the stop button and have it do something else instead and have it do something different. It's loading tools, it's reading skill. So it pulled the calendar events. So it's listing the tools, looking at all the events that I have coming up.
It's great.
It's describing them in thorough details, using the tools for all the people that it's finding that I have meetings with. And then it's looking for Gmail for
Yeah,
all the emails.
we need a 5-minute break, all right, just to do a bio break.
Okay, I'll finish this and we'll do the break. So let me show the spreadsheet.
Hold on to it.
So here is the spreadsheet. Let's say doing this. And so here is going to be the spreadsheet that you can see of all the people and the context from email. And here is Excel. Couldn't load for some reason, whatever. So your main contact for the VCG group organized your speaking slot. So all this information about these people. So it looks at both my calendar and my emails, and it's able to tell all this information of who these people are. And so here you could see that this person who accepted the meeting or not is going to be part of the information. Accepted the meeting, primary point of contact at MPBG. So it's able to do all this information just from this one brief prompt. Any questions about this before we do a bio break?
No? No.
All right, let's do a 5-minute bio break.
All right, thank you.
Which I should have taken. Thank you, Dr. Go.
Sure.
I don't get this. What's that? I don't get it. They open the streets are used. What's that? They open the streets.
But I like your question. I don't wanna spend 30 hours trying to learn this and put it together. I just want to do it.
Yeah.
I want the tools, not the knowledge.
You want the results.
Throw up on this one.
The output.
Bahrain and Kuwait are on. And then what will happen? It's, I mean. Yeah.
Why did that?
Oh, wait, this is a stable situation. You know why? Because Trump said it's good. I see those guys are true. I know. Must be good.
As a Jew, how do you see him be? Is he?
Trump?
Yeah,
It's the worst thing that's ever happened.
really?
I see the opposite. It's
Yeah.
the best thing that ever happened.
Is that right?
I'm not gonna argue with him. I
No.
respect him and he's
No,
entitled
there's an
to his
article in the Wall Street
viewpoint.
Journal about this conflict at a synagogue in New Jersey and just a strife between opposite perspectives on that sole issue. That's tearing them
listen.
apart.
All the hostages are back. That was impossible.
Yeah.
Impossible. It's okay, Mark. You're entitled to whatever you feel too, though.
Yeah.
No disrespect.
I get it.
Iran, they want to destroy the whole world. They want to destroy us too. Give them another 10, 15 years at the way they're going. Then we're gonna say, holy shit, what did we do? Their goal is to,
Yeah.
all the infidels and Western culture and civilization. Muslims only.
I don't agree. And
There you go.
I think that the issues he's raising are correct, but genocidal behavior is not gonna get us there.
Yeah,
You know?
and doing it independent of Congress and everything else, just going in.
Our allies.
Yeah,
I mean,
allies, the only do that.
America's lost, and the worst aspect of Israeli society is that, and there's no thought to peace or compromise. From Israel's perspective, their current policies has nothing to do with defense, it's all expansionism. They're taking 10 or 20 miles of Lebanon.
So Brent got back to me, he has not heard anything about the speaker's evaluation.
And it's taking over pressure off Netanyahu for all the things he's done.
I heard from 2 or 3 chairs.
October
Said
7th,
yes, they
September
heard.
9th.
Right,
Yeah.
Most
but he was
of them.
manipulated.
He was distracted.
I hadn't heard it.
And
If Brent hasn't heard it,
Whether
he's
it's
going
Zoom
to talk
meetings or whether it's
constantly.
these things,
Maybe
like
they
I would
haven't
never eat
asked him to, I don't know.
Definitely has some speakers, yeah, some speakers, total chairs.
I'll wait and see what Chris and
Now, what
Brad
would
say.
certainly be silly is for each of us to create the same system, right? That's what I'm saying.
Unless they told them, don't tell the
I
chairs
hope you
we're
don't mind
asking
us
you to
still
do
wanting
this.
to call
Oh, you could still, if you wanna give them away, they're valuable.
I'm actually writing,
But it's kind of like, okay,
Marinette.
Okay.
So I looked at recording up and maybe combine, have coffee.
where's the
That's
future?
You know, I know Insperity actually pretty well from.
Do better at whatever.
When I actually
Right.
graduated before.
Yeah, Israel.
Who did I go to? You understand for all this?
Right, they don't see the bubble, that's why I'm
Curious about what do you.
To choose these guys.
I had chairs in the whole year.
Anyway,
This is.
I had a very interesting conversation with, executive president.
No, I just had typical.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever, made a
So Hillary is
It's not about
talking to
money
my
to them, it's
grandmother
the
over the years
That's what I
about what
understand
time
too.
she
It's
worked
disparity
for
to
us.
my
And the last time I
I think this morning I did that first, I put in Insperity.
When I
And I
first
saw where it
seen
was sent, and I said, that can't be right.
Yeah, the old address, yeah.
and she uses in the
That's the way I see it.
Yeah, something we wanted yesterday.
And I had members that are on
Oh, I
both
needed a
sides.
Midas, I was with my mom and I flew out on time, and I needed a Midas. And the
wanna
first
say
Midas that
a
came up with the
canoe.
whole thing on the side.
Yeah.
with
When she
directions,
thinks of a canoe,
everything
a
was one that
canoe
didn't
kind
exist anymore.
of
When I called, I
doesn't
said,
go
"This is
straight,
the
it
one
kind
we're
of
on."
veers
No,
a bit
we're
and
on
comes
this
back.
one here. I said,
Right.
well, what about that one? Oh, that's close.
And that was it, it was a
That's
canoe
But that's the one that
versus a
comes up.
sailboat. And she said the first time I came
Now,
out
I
to
know
talk
you
to
use
your
it,
groups,
do you use
it
AI
was
at all?
really good job.
I actually have used it for some things of mine, like
Seeing
I
you
had my group
you're on
Walgreens
a
book.
sailboat.
And I then wanted to create
This was a
Very clear
like a
direction,
Western,
very straight line,
3-hour
pushing forward.
exercise with them.
And I was surprised that from just being there as the
And I actually
speaker, that she
posted
saw
weddings,
enough to see.
myself, to do this for a while
But she
as
was
well,
able to
so
come up with that.
Yeah.
And she's right, the first time she came, I was in malpractice period, the second
I
time
was
she
able
came,
to
passed
say
it.
that.
You're just getting out of malpractice.
And then
I felt the real
Thank you very much.
chair practice as I approached 5 years.
Hey, Jeff, if I can interrupt for a minute.
With our consultant.
See you, Mark, take care.
Exercise.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
Yeah, I had to do the whole thing, then I had to.
You're getting very
Then I had to give it
I have
a
it.
check it.
My wife, my mother-in-law.
This exercise and an evaluate. And it came back with some suggestions.
It's pretty good.
Mike,
Got it for our daughter.
I'll be in touch, I'll give you a call to
Yes,
follow up if I
please.
could.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I look forward to it.
Thank you.
Take care.
I'll see you.
Good seeing you.
Good seeing you. Thank you.
It's just putting their LinkedIn profile and the company
Which
website
is,
and then
I battled
I can't
whether
get
I
this
wanted,
company.
why not?
See you, Joe.
Okay.
Good seeing you.
Thank
you very much for your hospitality.
No,
I'm Andrew Skip.
If you go with
Nice
your
to meet you.
wife
Thank you so much.
for
Andrew, did you
3
get-
months
I'll
or
send you
6
an
months,
itinerary.
we can jump
Did you get validated?
No, how do you go?
Go down to art.
I was like, hey, we're gonna do an email campaign.
Guys,
I'll
take-
get
all the
emails on these
emails.
topics,
Okay,
and LinkedIn posts.
I'm gonna follow you and get
And has that been working pretty well?
It has, so like, they'll spend 5 or 10 minutes on one company, like, get 4 future emails, 3 LinkedIn messages, like.
Oh, okay,
comparison
little
that they
key
can-
group.
It's time to send it.
Hey, everybody, let's start.
Copy paste, and like,
And now
and
with
it was
this,
getting, it was getting so.
you get their own copy paste.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You didn't
so
take a break, Dr. Gelb.
We have to, we can only use.
Police is-
Okay.
And it's somewhat restricted, I think, so there's not information going out
Can
to
I think I'm.
the masses of what's internal into Xperity. So,
So guys, ready to restart?
yes, sir. We don't have all those licenses for every sales rep.
Sounds good. Okay, so just as a reminder from what we were just talking about, this is the prompt that I gave it briefly, and it looked at all of my upcoming meetings in the next 10 days, and it researched the name, the email organization, role title, meeting date, and then key context and Gmail notes. This is all notes from my email. So here is all the information from that. Then again, next one, this is someone who is a prospect meeting for AI adoption, for visionary restoration. So here it gives me all the meeting information introduced by Steven Schmidt. He was excited about how my AI tools can help his team and so on. And it gives information about this person. And so the same thing. This is another prospect. This is their name, AccuVisors. So accepted the meeting, says I sent the prep email, and so on. So here you could see that from that one simple prompt, it pulled information from my calendars, it pulled information from my Gmail, and it was able to create the spreadsheet. So it's able to do all of these things together just based on that one simple prompt. So thinking about the same prompt though, or similar idea that you want to, hey, look at all my meetings scheduled with my members and look at who accepted the meeting, who didn't. Then you can create a spreadsheet with all that information. Then if I wanted, I could have asked it to create Gmail drafts or automatically send email reminders to those who didn't. Or I could have asked it to create, let's say, Gmail drafts for people that would put it into my drafts that would remind them of the things we talked about in our previous meeting and what they needed to focus on and their commitments. So having all of that for your one-on-ones would be incredibly helpful. And that's something that a number of Vistage chairs do who I work with. So this is an example of something you can do easily, whether on a one-time ask or on a schedule. You can have it do it weekly so that it runs weekly on Mondays and then sends email reminders or email updates, whatever you wanted to send to people in a timely manner. Questions about that?
I'm curious, it even color coded it. What did it decide based on what?
So this is different meetings. This is one meeting. So this is the meeting we're having right now, all the people who are signed in. Then another meeting for the same people, AccuVisors, then another meeting for the same people. So color coded them based on just these being different meetings who are happy people that I'm coming up with.
Okay. Did you tell it to do that or did it automatically?
No, automatically. I also didn't tell it to create these specific columns. It automatically created the columns. I didn't tell it to like how to, this is what I told it.
That was it.
It's great, right? Wow.
Look at my upcoming meetings for the next 10 days, create a spreadsheet with all the people, also use my Gmail to get notes on each of these people. That's all I did.
Very good.
So powerful.
Yeah, it's incredibly powerful. All right. Let's talk a little bit more about recruiting because I know that this is obviously very, very important for you guys. Oh, I mean, important for everyone. So here is if you're using a CRM or if you're using a spreadsheet, whatever you're using for keeping track of folks for your pipeline. Pull my full HubSpot pipeline, or you can look at my Google spreadsheet or Excel spreadsheet of your prospects. Look at the total contacts for each lifecycle stage. Look at how many moves anyone in the current stage more than 30 days. Top 5 priority outreach. For each priority, draft a brief, warm outreach message that references their company specifics, our last interactions, flag anyone tagged hot lead, or wherever you want. So this is a typical prompt that you can customize to your needs based on whatever tools you're using, HubSpot, spreadsheets, anything else.
Can the My Vistage work for this? You know, the basic Vistage funnel?
Yes, yep, you can do that from iVistage. So, as long as you give it access and it signs into the website, yep, absolutely.
Will it actually sign in? Like if you give it your password and the link, will it actually go and sign on it by itself?
Yes, if you give it the password and the link, or you can sign into it on your behalf. or you can sign into the website yourself, whichever you want. You can type the password into here, you can sign into the website yourself. So you saw me, I signed into the web, I'm already signed into my LinkedIn profile. If I wasn't signed in, it would say, oh, can you sign into your LinkedIn profile? Then I would sign it.
Great.
So you just have it open in the browser?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But you don't have to have it open in the browser. I could have told it to go to my LinkedIn profile, then it would have gone to my LinkedIn profile if I wasn't signed in. So let's say I deleted all my cookies and it's not signed in. It would say, oh, you need to sign into your LinkedIn profile. Then you would sign into your LinkedIn profile. Same thing for your My Vistage.
Got it. Very good.
Then another, you saw me doing this already. So here is copy pasting a prompt. So if you want to have it not a generic outreach, but your goal is to invite somebody to complimentary Vistage Day, so you can do that as well. Give me free versions, whatever you want them to give it to you.
Yep.
So for cowork, here is a nice way of using a scheduled tasks. So every other Monday, check my HubSpot pipeline or get, on your Vistage lifecycle stage, subscriber, lead, prospect, opportunity, however you label them, calculate them, then save a one-page summary in my recruiting reports folder of today's date. So again, just run that, have it run every other Monday or whenever you want. So it's going to be pretty similar to what I just ran with look at my calendar contacts. It's able to do the same thing. So here's an example of someone who works with opens Cloud AI with HubSpot. So she uses HubSpot, runs her pipeline, live data, analyzes the pipeline. What used to take her lots of time now takes her 15 minutes. So this is just a lot of time you could save with your pipeline. Then LinkedIn prospecting. Tuesday routine. Look for CEOs in Atlanta, open 10 profiles in Club's tag group, ask Club to screen them, then typically surfaces 3 to 4 strong prospects. So you saw how I screened and surfaced some prospects just looking at the people on my sidebar. So you draft the personalized connection requests, and that's definitely quite helpful. Then workflows. I talked about NA10, prospect enrichment, automated follow-up, meeting prep compiler. So it estimates 3.5 weeks saved. Great. So quite efficient.
Dr. Gleb, Gil,
Yes.
could you, what's N8N?
So NA10 is this automation tool where you connect a number of programs to each other. So that's the one that they showed before.
Okay, I missed that.
Yeah, no worries. Yep. So here is the one for venue outreach, where I reached out to my speakers. So again, puts information to a spreadsheet, does research on them, customizes an email to them, and then puts it back into the spreadsheet. And from the spreadsheet, I automate email sending. You can put it into HubSpot or whatever other CRM tool you're using to automate emails to people.
Very good. Thank you.
Sure. Okay. Scheduling, coordination, workflow management. So here is a pretty simple prompt of look at my calendar, list meetings with time, attendee, current purpose, look at all of these issues just so you can manage your calendar better. So helping you prep, conflicts or double bookings. Another one. I need to schedule one-on-one with each member, and here are the members, or you can upload the spreadsheet. Each meeting is 90 minutes. Check my calendar for available blocks. Constraints, output a table where I can paste an email to member listings, free options for meetings. So here, thinking about how much time you spend on scheduling and coordinating, this is a really nice tool to cut down your time doing that. Or here is scan my Gmail for the past 48 hours. need response, informational only, scheduling meetings, member matters, and so on. And then draft a reply in your voice, suggest scheduling slots, ignore promotional and newsletter content. So again,
Can you,
quite efficient.
can you program this to send a text message through your, like I can send out, on a Mac, I can reach out to people using a text. Can I?
So you can use it. You can use texting through the LinkedIn the same way that I showed using LinkedIn. So it would go to an email program like Twilio or whatever other tools that you're using, and it would be able to manage your browser to send text messages.
Yeah. Did I hear you say, tell it to do something in your voice?
That's right.
How does it know your voice?
From reading your messages.
And so here you can have it.
It could take a picture of you, watch your videos.
No, he's not talking about that kind of voice.
And create, oh, I know he's not.
Yeah.
But it'll replicate you and have it talk like you.
Yeah.
I don't know about.
So here is examples of how I describe my voice. So using emails, writing emails on my behalf, use paragraphs, avoid bolding over other complex formatting, follow my style, use the right email skill. So here is personalization. So this is preferences for how I wanted to explain, to talk in my voice.
Gotcha. Thank you. That's what I was trying to get to. Where did you instruct it to do that? Thank you very much.
Yep. Sure. Yep. So that's going to be in the personalization instructions.
I've
Yeah,
actually
you can
dumped
give-
transcripts
you can give it all
of a coaching session into it, and it picked my voice up through a transcript and wrote the email in my
Yeah,
voice.
I just did that with chat. I loaded in a bunch of things I wrote
Right.
multiple years ago and said, please remember this.
Yeah. This was actually my conversation of the coaching session for 2 hours.
You could do that, and
It
then you
dumped
could say,
it
now
in,
make it
the
sound
transcript.
like I'm smart.
No, it sounded like me. Dumb it down to make it like Bill.
Or bigger than.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about the weekly briefing that I talked about. Here is a pretty standard weekly briefing prompt. From Google Calendar, list all meetings this week with times, attendees descriptions. From Gmail, summarize emails requiring action. From HubSpot, list all prospects or scheduled meetings, or get my Vistage or whatnot. Check if any member one-on-ones are overdue. Save it as a weekly briefing document in my weekly briefings folder. So again, very simple, like idea, but connecting all of these together is a very powerful tool.
Maybe more fun stuff. And this is the aggravating stuff that we do,
I
right?
have to manage.
Exactly. This is exactly the aggravating stuff that you do that you don't have to spend as much time at. All right, here's an example of one person who works with 3 co-work schedule tasks: a Monday meeting briefing, pre-group meeting prep, and Friday wrap-up. So the Monday brief reveals overdue one-on-ones a week ahead. Prep compilation looks at each member's recent notes and goes into one document. Then Friday wrap-up captures commitments. Great. Like makes much less of the annoying stuff that you have to do. That's what I was talking about, those 5 to 10 hours per week. Another example, the N8N workflow. Watch the calendar, writes activity entries to HubSpot for any meeting with a known contact. Great, you're getting enriching your CRM. All right, let's talk a little bit about content organization. So here is a nice prompt where you search your Google Drive for anything related. Let's say, I know a number of Vistage shares help their members with strategic planning. And so you can have it search your Google Drive for anything related to strategic planning and say that include documents, presentations, and notions that mention strategic planning for each one. Give me the file name and location, topic, and why it might be useful for your purpose, and order by likely relevance, or whatever you want. So you can have it find anything that you want on any topic. Let's say you want member succession planning. So you can have it find all the information on that so that you have all of that information easily available. Then another one that you can do is thinking about each member and your notes on each member. Pull together everything I've discussed with this person across all of our organizations. You get your emails, any notes, anything. Synthesize recurring themes, goals they stated, commitments, topics they tend to avoid, people in the world that are referenced often, and prepare a dossier. Great.
Dr. Gelb, I think we're gonna have to close up the meeting for today.
Okay. So so I think everybody wanted a copy of my research. Like I said, I have the PowerPoint is extensive, and I wasn't intending to get through the whole of it. I was intending to answer your questions, and that was my goal for today, and helping you guys out. This is what I do. I help Vistage chairs. I also help your companies and your members adopt it and customize it to their needs. That's my area of expertise. So let me know if you have any questions at this stage, and Ken will get me your information. I'll kind of get in touch with all of you. Happy to give you that pro bono coaching and send you all these resources. But in the meantime, I'm happy to take any remaining questions.
I'm overwhelmed.
This is why I offer coaching for folks. I
I
understand it's
appreciate it.
overwhelming.
This is a yes or no question. Do you work in the contractor services industry?
I've worked for some contractor services. Yes, sure.
I'll be in touch with you, we'll talk further. I can't thank you enough for everything you did today.
It's amazing.
Lots of wonderful things.
Thank you very much, Dr. Gleb. Thank you.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.